Aerodrome Finance crucial price update. The time has come. My name is mikemadz. Let's start this video. Before I start the video, as always, Aerodrome community, make some noise. Every like matters, every comment matters. Basically, engagement is very important. The more people engage, the better for the video. The more people are going to hear about Aerodrome, the better it's going to be for us. And especially make some noise if you're still here despite this brutal price action. Let's start. All right, let's jump straight into it. No time to waste here, especially here, guys. After yesterday's dump here, prices are moving to the downside. Obviously, as I told you from my last video here, we are clearly in a downtrend. The data doesn't lie, the charts don't lie. We are beneath the bull market support band, so we are in a continuous downtrend. This is how it is, and every pump here gets sold off until we find a real bottom. Today we're gonna cover, is Aerodrome dead? Is the possibility of Aerodrome being dead actually real? The bull case for Aerodrome, the best case scenario from here, price action here, and we're gonna take a look at Bitcoin here as Bitcoin leads the way. And of course, the most important question, now what? What to do? Should you buy the dip? Should you wait it out? What's next to come here in this month? And are we seeing new prices here, new highs here in this year or not? Let's start. Right, most important question is Aerodrome dead? Does it make sense to invest in it or not? This is the most important fundamental question you need to ask yourself before, of course, investing in an asset. And long story short, guys, no, Aerodrome is not dead. As I always keep repeating, Aerodrome is the blue chip project of Base, the ecosystem of Coinbase, and of course we are extremely bullish on Coinbase, especially during this next mania phase here. Those crypto stocks are going through the roof here, and of course this liquidity will trickle down into the assets here, into Base, into Aerodrome. So overall, is Aerodrome dead? No, despite of course the price action being absolutely terrible here in the recent months. Taking a look at the metrics here, as you can see here, the average lock time here for Aero still over 3 years. Absolutely impressive, 3.87 years here. Again, my personal hunch, me personally here, guys, in the crypto space, I never lock up anything longer than 3 to 6 months. Okay, 1 year is a long time in the crypto space. Next year, projects can look absolutely different here. Black swans are a real thing. Crypto is very volatile. So personally, I would never lock up anything more than 3 to 6 months here. Personal opinion. Taking a look at the Aero holders, we have over 21,000 Aero holders. Very impressive. And as I always say here, guys, especially here in this period, make use of your Aerodrome, lend it out, stake it, borrow against it. You can do whatever here. Make sure you're using your Aerodrome. This way you're beating inflation to some sort of extent. You're increasing your position size while of course the prices are moving down. So you have a bigger bag here once we finally recover. Very, very important here. And taking a look at the TVL, a deeper dive into TVL, and especially in the big picture here. If you zoom out, of course the TVL is still super impressive. Yes, we are here in a slight downtrend, no question about that. But as you can see here, compared to the 24th epoch, or here even 12th epoch here, this time frame still are substantially higher. And of course we have to take a look at, especially in the next couple months, is this downtrend in a sustainable fashion gonna continue, or are we finally gonna catch the curve here, have the bottoming process and finally move higher, especially towards the end of the year? But again, if you zoom out, as you can see here, we are still at healthy levels. And overall here, Aerodrome is looking absolutely attractive here on a fundamental basis here. Price action, very hard currently, of course, to digest, and prices are moving down. Just from my last video here, prices are down over 30%. This is exactly why I told you, always protect your capital. Make sure to understand which trend we are in, and currently the trend is down. We might be getting close here to the bottom. This is not a catch the falling knives type of scenario. Once the bottom is in, you still have lots of time to react, okay? Taking a look at the price action here of Bitcoin, super important. Why? Again, Bitcoin leads the way, and this is the most important thing. Once Bitcoin finally finds a bottom, altcoins can finally breathe up, and then the altcoin season can start. So taking a look at Bitcoin here, as you can see, since my last video here, we were much higher levels here, almost at $66,000. Since my last video here, Bitcoin alone dropped over 16%. For Bitcoin, the blue chip here in the crypto space, that's a lot. And we'll have to see, is this finally the bottom, or are we actually going to fill this wick here and trend towards the 50K or even below 50K? Overall, nobody knows, guys, where the bottom is going to be. Okay, the only people that know is most probably the whales and market makers. And very important here, of course, in the macro space, stocks are jumping hard. Of course, stocks are pulling everything down, especially here high risk assets just like crypto. And this is why you have to take a look at Bitcoin And also before that, you have to take a look at stocks and you have to take a look at the macro. Once stocks finally bottom and have a relief rally, I think we are in a relief bounce rally here where we're going to retest this bull market support line. So in the short term, there is a possibility to have a bounce here, no question about that. But also keep in mind here, guys, there is also a high chance here to finally fill this wick here for Bitcoin, which also means for altcoins to dump lower. So keep this in mind, super important. Taking a look at this option here, why would it make sense for Bitcoin to drop a little bit lower? Simply to fill the wick, as I said. And as you can see here, we have support in this area. It would make sense here on a chart level, but again, it doesn't have to happen. We can also have the option here to simply bounce off these levels, which we are right now. And currently we are actually green here in this day, finally after this crazy capitulation. So we'll have to see where it goes. But again, for you, take a look at stocks, take a look at Bitcoin, and then decide in where you want to buy altcoins or not. Okay, super important. Taking a look at stocks here, Coinbase, the Coinbase stock itself, if Coinbase is doing bad, of course, Aerodrome and base projects are going to do bad. Okay, the correlation here is pretty high, obviously. So Coinbase itself is down over 40%, guys. The stock, okay, this is not an altcoin. So stock is down over 47%. So overall, not a pretty picture here. We are in the downtrend. This is simply a fact. And we have to gauge where the bottom is to finally start DCing into those projects. All right, that being said, of course, we also have to cover the bull case, as anything can bottom at any time. And especially here, things in crypto can pump to the upside, leaving most people to the sideline, which is super hard to digest here. And this is why it's also important to cover the bull case here. What is the best case scenario for Aerodrome and for the entire market? Take a look at that here. In my personal opinion, this would be towards the best case scenario for Aerodrome. Of course, we can already be bottomed here, no question about that. But in my personal opinion, the best case scenario for Aerodrome is here to simply bottom at this 38-cent level. Which does not mean that we're gonna spend a lot of time here. This can be simply a wick here, retesting those lows, double bottom, and then move to higher prices. But again, this also means another 25% move from here. Now, does it have to happen? Absolutely not, guys. Again, this can be the bottom here, and especially here, this can be a short-term bottom for a relief rally here, where you have the chance to sell higher if you're unsure about the crypto space in total. But again, best case scenario, in my honest opinion here, is that we're gonna retest those lows, okay? Again, big disclaimer, this doesn't have to happen. Keep that in mind, and we can bounce from here, which means you have to prepare for each scenario. Which again, as I always say, the best thing to do is have your Aero position, keep that, but also make sure to have a cash position in order to reap the benefits here. If we dump lower, especially if your average price is higher, your mission should be to put your averages down, so in order to sell for a profit here in a potential bounce. So this is my best case scenario, financial advice. Let me know your thoughts below here. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I'm curious to hear. All right, coming to the question, now what? What should you do? Should you buy the dip? Should you wait it out? Should you sell your entire position and move on? Wait for the bottom? What should you do? And for this, to answer this question, I just want to put some things into perspective. Now, first thing is, we currently are at extreme fear, okay? We are at extreme fear, and as you can see here, compared to last week here, we are even at lower levels again, okay? So people are fearful, and usually those indications here mean it is not the worst time to start buying, okay? So if you're buying right now, this is not the worst time. The worst time to buy was at the all-time high or towards the high where everybody was euphoric. So if you're buying right now, you're doing something right, despite the fact here that of course we can dip lower. So first thing's that, okay? Second thing you need to look at, very important currently, because it's leading the entire crypto space, take a look at stocks here. Is the S&P bottoming here? Do we have more downfall or not? And especially the NASDAQ here is very correlated here to Bitcoin. Once stocks start finally to bottom, then you can start dabbling into altcoins, in my personal opinion. Right now, buying altcoins is just simply a coin flip. You can be right, of course, you can catch the exact bottom, but currently buying altcoins is just simply a coin flip, and this is reality, which means currently buying altcoins is just simply gambling and just spraying and praying and hoping for the best. This is usually not the best strategy. Again, hope is not a strategy. This is why we have to wait for confirmation, in my personal opinion. Once we have confirmation here, especially once the entire market structure finally flips bullish, then you can be sure, and then you can of course dabble into those altcoins. But again, saying that, right now in my personal opinion is not the worst time to start DCAing, okay? And the key word here being DCAing. Don't lump sum in everything you already got. Make sure you're DCAing at those levels in order to catch lower price. Pretty simple. At the end of this pain, I still expect much higher prices. And currently, as I just showed you fear-wise, we are most probably close to a bottom, or there's much more pain to come. And of course, we're all not prepared for it. But again, this is not my base case. I'm still bullish here, and especially towards the end of the year and next year, I expect things to absolutely skyrocket. Position yourself correctly. Don't FOMO buy. Don't panic sell. Make sure you have a plan. Super important. And the most important thing is make sure to watch my videos as we are in this journey together. Okay? At the end of the day, guys, the most important thing is be bullish on yourself. That yields the most returns. Do your own research. Super important. And the most important thing is, as always, don't get wrecked.
Giving up from blue tops like Mars Simpson, just hard discipline, pot simmering, cooking up, no rocks in the pan, watching the plan form in the sand, bidding castles out of thoughts in our head, late nights, no sleep in my bed, trying to see my dreams manifest. Look at that, now look at that, we nice. Put the past on ice.